Bro, this rain's crazy. Like, I can't believe it's such a big thunderstorm after like weeks of just dry, arid weather. And now it's this big ass like lightning show outside my door. And I think God's after me.
So why would God be after you?
God's after me because I'm watching The Bear, and there's multiple references of people talking about a chicken being the Pope's nose. And I laugh. So I think that's the problem with this. But what I wanted to bring up to you, so you've been watching The Boys, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, and I'm surprised South Park, I think Matt and Trey cooking up something, bro. This stuff is way too real. Like these, like the subject matters for the boy, and like South Park and stuff. I'm just like, yeah, y'all heard our episode in the last podcast. I'm not, yeah, our last week episode on the national anthem. But bro, it's just it's hitting too close to home, man.
I mean, so one of the parts of The Boys that happened recently that I've just been thinking about and it's giving me nightmares are the V'd up sheep that flew.
The sheep.
Who, like, that is a nightmare I didn't need in my life. Like, sheep are supposed to be nice and, like, calm, and they were, like, looking straight on at the sheep, and I was like, oh, look at the sheep. And then you just saw, like, face open up and, like, fucking try to take everybody out. Like, that is terrifying. And the bull, and I was like, I saw the bull, and I was like, the bull is going to be beat up.
Right.
They're going to get fucked. And to see a sheep just come and snatch that shit.
Look, man, it's the ones that you least expect. You gotta always watch out. Young Metro said they ain't trust them. Welcome to the Us Listen Counseling Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm your boy Jermaine.
And this is Martin.
And guys, we have a great episode for you guys. And to the people that have now joined and new listeners, we want to say welcome. But yeah, today we're gonna be talking about a little it's adjacent to dating. I think it's like the extra. It's like you go from dating to the next level. As you upgrade, you go to Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan 3. All right, what are we talking about, bro?
Oh my god. There's a video that I saw recently, and it's not related to what I'm going to play later in this episode. There's a video where a girl is explaining what dating is, and a lot of people think that dating is when you're like officially a thing, like you're a couple. But she argues that dating is after the talking stage where you're like trying to set up a time to meet up. Once you're on an official date, you are dating that person. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, wait. Now I need to know what is the criteria of dating, because I feel like there's layers. There's single. You meet up, right? I'm assuming the meet up, the transition to meeting up, sitting down or whatever activity. Now you're on the date. So technically, is the act of the date dating? That's my question. Or is dating boyfriend, girlfriend?
So dating, in her words, I wish I had her information, I'd give her credit. But in her words, dating is just going on dates. So the talking stage, all right, so I think the levels, in my opinion, are single, talking stage, dating, in a relationship, engaged, married.
Okay.
Or maybe partner. That should be that, but for the most part, that's what I'm attributing the relationship stages to be. So, in her words, she thinks that when you're just talking on the apps, like social media or whatever you're doing to meet the person, that's the talking stage.
Okay.
Once you're going on, once you get to the first date, you are dating that person. It's not saying that you're committed to that person.
Yes.
It's saying that you are dating that person. You can date multiple people. Like, that's fine, but you can't be in a relationship with multiple people. So I think he wants to make that clear distinction between dating and in a relationship. Because it's okay to say that you're dating multiple people, but you can't be in a relationship with multiple people unless you're in a polyamorous relationship, which I don't understand.
And it's whole layers to that. Like,
I'm a very jealous person, and I'm very selfish, and I want my person, and I want to share my person. But maybe I'm weak-minded, or maybe I'm saying, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think dating is just going on those dates, or do you think it's more than that?
I think it's going on those dates, and I think it's I believe that it needs to be spoken out more, because I feel like when most people start dating, they kind of like, even if you just aren't going on dates with one person, they kind of get into that illusion that now we're a couple. before it's even there. They're like, well, I'm not going to date other people, so therefore I'm going to assume they're not going to date other people without that conversation.
You know what they say about people who assume?
Makes out an ass out of you and me, brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's right. But I feel like I don't know, man. Nowadays, bro, it's weird. Like, I feel like a lot of people make assumptions a lot, or they hear things that they want to hear, or they make their own. Like, oh, this is my truth, even though the other person.
Yeah, they have their own sense of reality. Everybody has their own perspective, their own
main character syndrome.
Yeah, everyone thinks they're number one. They think everybody else is an NPC. I said that recently on the metro. Someone was just like, "You just gonna do that on the train?" I'm like, "These people don't exist. They're not real. I'm never gonna see them again. Doesn't matter. Like, I can see if you're like affecting someone, but if you're doing something that's quote unquote embarrassing in front of people you'll never see again, it doesn't count. If you flash your dick,
well, the cops will say so
at Legoland, and nobody says anything, as far as I'm concerned, you're in the clear. Not saying that I condone that, but you'll never see those kids again unless you're Drake.
Oh God. Anyway, but it's like us. All right. Before I go and ask you that, I just wanted one quick aside. If you flash someone in Legoland and you don't get caught, you might be Neo and you might be in the Matrix, bro. Honestly, you just like, hey yo, where the agents at? I'm the one. I can bend spoons. Did you see the new video for Kendrick?
Not Like Us video? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It came out on the 4th of July. It was like the best time for him to drop the video. Especially when he called Drake a colonizer, and that's when we became a colony. Like, that's kind of crazy.
That is kind of crazy, right?
Because he had the concert on Juneteenth. Where he's like representing all black people and got them all on stage. And then on the 4th of July, he was like, you know what? Let me drop a video. And he just tore Drake up. And now everybody's clowning Drake. I don't know if it's funny because there's clowns in the video.
There's clowns in the video, yeah.
I don't know if you saw recently, but in Copa America, Argentina beat Canada. Drake bet $300,000 that Canada was going to win, and Argentina pulled out the victory. And on their social media, they put like, they not like us, they not like us, like with the sport game.
Oh my God, Drake! Look, bro, you're embarrassing your country now, bro. Now, all right, look, he got to bow with the game, bro. Like he need to either go back into the lab. He got to lick his wounds, bro. But we didn't see beef like this since probably Tupac and Biggie, bro.
Like, I didn't see beef like this since I went to Smash Burger and got a double.
What are we talking about today, man?
No. I saw you pull up this drink that you were sipping on. I want to know what you drinking.
All right. Good segue. So I almost killed it because of the
delicious. God damn.
But I made a tequila and Sprite drink, but I'm gonna give y'all the ingredients because basically ranch water. Tequila with a squeeze of half lime and a dash of Sprite. You can mix the Sprite. You can change the Sprite with tonic water or Topo Chico or sparkling seltzer or whatever. This right here, it's just ranch water, but American ranch water because Sprite is cheaper than Topo Chico. What you drinking, dog? Cause I saw what you were drinking. Yours is like very colorful.
Yeah, I got the fruity of the fruits going on here. In honor of, I guess Pride Month's over. Anyway, so so right now I'm gonna call this a strawberry gin and juice. Okay. Strawberry gin and juice. So what I did was I grabbed 2 strawberries and I muddled it in the bottom of the glass. I added some gin that I made in London, which I put on the episode many times. And then on top of that, I put a little bit of strawberry lemonade and just stirred it up. Give it a little stir. Honestly, the chunks of the strawberry are too big. I should have muddled it a little bit better. So like as I'm sipping this, I'm getting like residue stuck on my lips, and I'm like trying to suck it up. Whoa, hold on, no Diddy.
No Diddy.
I'm trying to make sure I don't get caught on the camera. So if I turn my head after I take a sip of this drink, just know I'm trying not to embarrass myself.
There you go.
But kind of going in line with this idea of embarrassing oneself, it's hard to come back from to your friends after you've gone through a divorce. Like let's say you get married to somebody and you're like, this is my person. I have everybody come to my wedding and I want you guys to all love me for who we are and love my wife and love my husband. And then within a year, you call it quits.
Oh.
Like, that's what this episode is about. We're going to talk about reasons why most people get divorced and why most people choose to get married. We're going to have both the light and the darkness in this episode.
Okay.
And I don't know. Should we start on the darker note or the light note?
Let's leave on a high note. Okay. Because this is a very interesting subject. Because you showed Catherine and our other host, a video on our Instagram, our group chat, where this woman was explaining like why, like it was basically a tagline saying like, if it sucks, do you think it sucks to date when you're 20? Wait till you're 30. She mentioned something very interesting was you want to wait and date the people that are divorced because, but it's like they can't be multiple divorcees, only one divorce.
Well, let's give the listeners context. Let's play the video and we can see what they say.
I need to slow up, bro. It's tequila, man.
Oh, you left your bottle.
I mean, shoot, she. Technical difficulties.
My fault. Ooh. More technical difficulties. We're here though.
Your 30s. And I'm just like, what do you mean your 30s? And he goes, well, only the weirdos are left because everyone good has been paired off and you don't want to be stuck with one of those weirdos. So instead, what you do is wait for people to get divorced. And I'm just like, what? And he goes, yeah, you only want one divorce as well. I'm like, only? Yeah, because the people who have had multiple divorces have commitment issues and you don't want those. And I'm just like, okay, so like forget body count, partner count. There's divorce count? Oh my God, I don't want to turn 30. I was like to my friend, it's so hard dating.
All right. I remember when body counts was a thing. Like, now I laugh at that because I was like, yo, who cares? Like,
well, all right. Since we're talking about it, your future wife. She comes to me like, babe, you're my one and only. I love you so much. But like, I feel like I need to get this off my chest because I'm a godly woman. But I also have done a lot of things in my past. I had 100 different dicks in my mouth. Like, what are you saying to that?
Because technically, when I kiss her, have 100 different dicks in my mouth. Is that what you said? See, look, I feel like if you ask a question like, it's like, all right, it's like, I'm trying to think of a question. Like, you don't want to know the answer. You want to know the answer you want to hear, and you pray that they say the same answer. Bro, you don't want to hear that answer.
It'd be unsolicited. She's like, you didn't even ask her. She just unprompted was like, yeah.
And she told me that, and I was like, this is a problem, bro. Why are you coming at me? Is it something
that body count didn't matter? I thought body count didn't matter.
Okay, look. If we talk about are we talking about dating or you married? Because you already won. At this point, you already won. You're the chosen one.
You're married. At this point, you're married, and she drops this bomb on you. How you feeling?
Is that grounds for divorce?
Is it? I don't know. But what would you think? You know what? Let's just go into the episode. Let's just talk about it. Is that grounds for divorce? And if not, what would you think are the most common grounds for divorce in a relationship?
I don't think body counts ground for divorce. I think cheating, like adultery. Yeah. Adultery.
We're gonna, you know what? I think I'm gonna organize this a little bit. We're gonna see if you guess the top 5 reasons.
Top 5.
Cheating is number 2.
Finances.
Not top 5.
Oh, really?
No, that's just missed. That's number 6.
Oh, dang. Falling out of love.
I'll give you that. Lack of compatibility. Yeah, that's number 3. I feel like
you should know that. All right. What number is that?
That's number 3.
All right, so we got lack of compatibility. I'm only gonna guess 2 more, and then you can fill out the rest. All right. Chooses work over family. I don't know that.
That's not one. We'll give
That's
you one
not
more
one.
guess. Some of it's
Drug addiction. Addictions.
Ooh, that's on the list, but that's not top 5.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
the top 5, number 1 that you didn't get, which I wouldn't have thought this one, but I understand it now that I hear it, is lack of family support. So basically, your family is just like, I don't want you to marry that girl. I don't want you to marry that man.
Oh.
And you marry them anyway, and you're like, you're not invited to like events because like we don't want to see your husband, or you don't want to see her like she got all these issues. She's changing who you are. We don't like you. Kind of like that 7M TikTok video, documentary.
Yeah.
Because the dude was black, right? That was the reason. I don't know for sure.
Oh, is that right?
I don't know for sure, but I do know that.
I heard he put it down though. All right, continue.
Man, he know what he's doing. He know what he's doing. He one of us. But yeah, so lack of family support is like a huge one, and I can speak to like a prior relationship where, I mean, if I'm being candid and honest, like I screwed up. I didn't know what I was and wasn't able to do, what I wasn't supposed to do, and in that scenario, the family of my ex like resented me, like hated me. And we were in this weird spot where it was like, hey, we can make it work. Like, we're good. The family doesn't support, but we're good. And it's like, hey, I'll just leave my family for you. Like, I'll do that. And I was in this position where I was just like, you know what? That feels messy. And I don't want mess. I want to be accepted. And I don't want to be the villain of the story. So I'll be a villain to you and not the villain. I'd rather be a villain to the entire family than a villain to everybody but you and your family. Right. So I was like, let me just sever the tie and not cause any more drama or heartache, because I felt like I was a point of contention in the relationship with her closeness with her family. I didn't want them to separate. Because. So I had to make that decision and be like, you know what, let's just not do this. And it was hard at the time, and we weren't married, but it's still that similar like idea of like, hey, my family doesn't like you very much, so let's not do this.
That's interesting because I can see where that's coming from. I have some friends that are married that hate their in-laws. Their in-laws, it's coming after y'all too. Mm-hmm. Their in-laws aren't very happy about them either. But it's like, it's this constant stress over them, and they're trying to keep their relationship out of it. It's different, like you said. It's different I think it's different if the partner was like, yeah, my parents suck too. I get it. Like, I don't want, like, if they're already checked out and was like, hey, yo, F my family, maybe. But family, even if you got the worst family ever, y'all disagree, all types of stuff, unless it's like, you nuke the whole situation, I feel like you're biologically tied to these people. No matter their views, no matter what they think or whatever, you're always going to be like, dang, bro, like, I wish my family was... Because I have friends that hated their family in college. They were like, yeah, my parents suck. I don't like them.
Hated their families?
Yeah. And then, or at least didn't really like them. They were like, I would rather just be with somebody else's family, right? Like for holidays and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then as they got older, and I think that's the thing, when you get older, you understand the importance of family or where these people, because these people raised you. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's hard, because I see some of my friends that are in relationships where they're like, their parents suck. They're not standing up for me. They're not helping me go through this. I'm the one having to stand up for me and my basically children to those people. So
yeah, I mean, I have some friends in that same boat too, where they went into it. Well, I can speak to another scenario it hasn't become it's not an issue in my marriage, but leading into the wedding, it was sort of an issue. As we both have very religious families, me and my wife. And my mom was like, you got to get married in the church. If you don't get married in church, it's not a real wedding. Like, all right. Putting that type of pressure.
Every black mom out there be like...
You're right. You get to the wedding, and she rolling her eyes. You're like, really, Mom? Really? Like, you can't be happy? I'm happy. I just think that this is sin. She didn't say that. She didn't say that. I'm putting words in my mom's mouth.
His mom's a very nice lady. I met her.
Yeah, she's very nice, but deep down, she wanted a church wedding because my brother didn't get married in church. She was like, "Oh, my son, he's gonna get my middle child."
You got one more child,
right? My sister can carry the torch for the rest of us.
Hey, yo, they do say 3 strikes and then you're out, so you're not technically out yet. Look, it's the mind. You gotta.
Well, that brings us to our next reason, number 2, which you identified, which is infidelity and cheating. Now, for this one, they said this happens for couples that have been together for over 8 years. Like
8 years?
Yeah, like this is where the most likely for this to be a reason why you divorce is at past 8 years. Like there's just not as much fire in the relationship, and you're just like, you know what? Let me just see what else is out there. I'm trying to see something different. New was always better.
New was always better.
Hashtag Barney Stinson.
Hashtag Barney
How I Met
Stinson.
Your Mother. Hashtag the GOAT. Now, now, me being the resident married person on this podcast, I would never. I feel like when you get to a point where you feel like you want to be deceitful and you want to go talk to somebody else, you probably shouldn't be with the person in the first place. You need to work things through with your partner, communicate, and be like, hey, my needs haven't been met, or I feel a certain way about you. How can we work together? Because I think a lot of people kind of draw apart because, it's different circumstances, whether it be money, whether it be the kids, whether it be just, work conflicting and things just not aligning. Like, people find ways to kind of separate, and you got to find time at least once a day, just do that mental check-in. Like you were talking about our friends who try to have like an hour a day to just come together at the end of the day and be like, hey, are you good? We good? Let's just spend time together and, just be close. And I think that's the key to a happy, successful marriage, is to just make time for each other and put each other first as much as you can.
Yeah, and also another thing I feel like, and I could be wrong, I'm not married yet, out here dating, but I think a lot of people that do cheat based on like, oh, it's not exciting, blah blah blah. I agree. If you were looking out, like, you probably didn't want to be with this person in the first place. They probably gave you like what you needed at the time. You grew, and you were like, maybe you grew into yourself, and you're like, oh, this is actually not what I wanted. Let's say that's the case. Or let's say you get married out of love, care, you actually love this person, and you get bored. I think it's the lack of contentment. Like, a lot of people aren't content with their life. Mm-hmm. They'll be like, I mean, granted, yeah, you can do other stuff. Don't be boring. Like, go live your life. Find contentment in yourself. Because I feel like when they cheat, it's like they're looking for something outside to feel something not even your partner's not giving to. Because like you said, you can have a conversation with your partner.
Right.
It's something that you're trying to feel inside yourself.
You're seeking some kind of validation in yourself. That, like, some people are just like, hey, I just want to know if I still got it. And they're like, go out there, see what's biting. Let me see what's biting. And when you go out there, you screw up your marriage for like a fling, and then you realize the fling ain't worth it. So you're just like, man, I really just threw away 8-9 great years of marriage for some ass.
Right, and you saw at the Ashley Madison documentary. Mm-hmm. Literally perfect example of that. Like, where, the dudes saw other women were doing it. He was like, yeah, married women are doing it all the time. Bro, it was probably like 10 doing it.
Well, I think there were more than 10, but I hear what you're saying. It definitely wasn't as many as perceived. But there's still women out there, and I think it's equal parts. Men and women can both not have their needs being fulfilled, and they want to seek outside the marriage.
Yeah, and like you said,
sometimes
earlier,
your partner's in the same boat. I mean, sometimes your partner's in the same boat, and like, hey, maybe we should buy a swing and just go swinging. Like, well, can we be married and happy and swing? Well, we can give it a try. If you don't like it, we'll stop. I think there was a comedian that made a joke about how him and his wife went to like a swingers party, and he was just like, hell yeah, like, we gonna do this. And then she was just getting fucked by everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He was just sitting there, dick in his hand, like, oh no, I don't like this at all. I don't want this at all.
He proposed it and it happened. And she was like, "Well, I guess
we gotta come back."
Oh no! See, and it blows up in your face. All right, what's the next one?
Oh man, it blows up in your face. I love that.
Oh, yeah, it's different.
So the next one, it kind of goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about a little bit. Well, I'll say 2 and 3 kind of go together, or 3 and 4 go together. It's lack of compatibility and lack of intimacy. So with the lack of compatibility, you realize that, oh, you know what, this person isn't exactly who I thought they were. Like, this isn't my forever person. And a lot of people, that's what happens to a lot of relationships when you're in the first year and you're like, you like hot and heavy really quick, you get into the altar, and then you like actually start living with the person and getting to know who they are. And they're like, well, if I'm married now, I don't have to work as hard. I can relax. Like, I don't got to shave my legs, or I don't got to, brush my teeth. I don't got to fix my hair. Like, I can just come out looking scruffy because the mating stage, the courting stage is past. And you like not keeping the romance, keeping the dream alive. And it's just like, oh, well, you're sloppy. You don't care. You don't take care of yourself. Like, what? Where was this? Like, if I knew this was who you are, I wouldn't have pegged you to be with me.
I think that's so interesting because as someone single now, like the work I put in to get to where I am, like that scares the shit out of me. And but it happens. Like people get comfortable. They're like, well, I won. I got the goal, right? Because it's very much like goal mindset, right? Like, oh, I look this good. I shave my legs. I work out. I go on runs. Oh, now I met this person. Everything basically that was me was a lie because all it was to get to this point. So that's really not me. This is me. You know.
And you should accept me for who I am, not the me I showed you I was. Accept me for me that I am today. And that's where I think a lot of people fall into this, like, get into problems with the relationship and the marriage. They're like, oh, this is gross. Like, well, I'm just not feeling motivated. I'm just lazy. And I've seen a lot of, like, am I the assholes or the relationship advice where it's like, my husband has just given up. Like, he's not working out. He's not doing anything. We both committed prior to being married that we're going to maintain an active lifestyle. But now he does just sit and play video games and eat like shit and not really want to go out. I'll be like, me and the kids are going to go walk for a walk in the stroller. He's just like, all right, I'm just going to chill here. Like, and a lot of that, I mean, some of those symptoms just sound like depression.
Yeah.
But I think we probably read that on one of our podcasts. I think that might have been on the pod.
We should do like another part because I think that would be interesting for this.
Yeah. So we'll write that down. We'll do another Reddit react. But what was I going? Oh yeah. So there's just that lack of compatibility, but then it also can lead to a lack of intimacy if you don't respect your partner. If you're like, oh, like they're letting themselves go. Like I don't want that on top of me. Like I don't find you attractive.
And then that leads to the number 2.
Right, and that leads to number 2, which goes to that infidelity and the cheating. So it kind of all ties in a little bit. It doesn't tie in with the first one, the family support. Unless you fucking someone's sister or brother, then that could lead to a whole different family dynamic.
Well, you're keeping it in the family, so the family is supporting you.
So is it cheating if it's in the family? My wife just got disgusted.
I would say cheating in the family. I mean, I'm assuming yes. I tried to find a joke. It's more like you getting the answer key from the professor versus looking over somebody's tongue.
Well, you go into it, you're just like, hey, do you work the same way?
Well, that's the same thing as like twins, right? Is it cheating if you're like sleeping with a twin?
I think that should be studied because
identical, not paternal, because I feel like it's a dad giveaway at that point.
Yes. So if you, no, I'm not gonna bring your brother. Not bring your brother into it. But conceptually, if you and a twin, like if you were dating somebody and your twin was like, yo, let me slide in, and you weren't really feeling this person, and you were like, yeah, go ahead. You know, we're gonna get off that topic. We're gonna get off that topic.
I think honestly, in this climate, it's not a good look. Look, In the 90s, they were like, man, that's hilarious. It's Parent Trap all over again. Next American Pie. Bro, honestly, it'd be a whole movie on it. Now in this climate, they're like, disgusting. Disgusting.
You're like, why would you do that?
What's the next one?
All right, so we went through 1, 2, 3, and 4. The fifth one, which I'm surprised you didn't get, too much conflict and arguing.
Arguments. I don't know, man. I just thought that was like, that just came with the baggage, right?
Well, I mean, some people are just polar opposites. Like, let's say, I mean, in this climate, right? A Democrat and a Republican with strong views on each side getting together, and it's just like constant clashing. Where like you come home and it's an argument, you just like, whew, had a long day, and I got some news that my student loans were forgiven. Oh, so you need a handout? Your company just got $20,000 to pay off that SBA loan that you got a couple years ago. Well, you got to help the small business, and like I own 5 small businesses. Like, Stuart, you work at home, you make rulers in your spare time. You don't do anything. Hey, just because I'm a working man and you need a handout, like I'm getting too political.
It gets layers. I think that's interesting. I want to keep your thought. I want to mention something from a channel I used to follow on YouTube. The guy was married. He never said he was conservative, but everything he spoke about, or like his topics or things he disagreed about, sounded conservative. I was like, all right, man, it's a science channel about video games. I'm still going to watch the dude. He's funny, right? One day he said, yeah, bro, I gotta get myself back in the gym. I gotta start shaving again because I gotta go back on dates. And someone in chat was like, what happened? He was like, oh, my wife left me. Found out his wife is because they got together in college. Because back in the olden times, political standards wasn't that big. She's very liberal. He's very conservative. And it just... Anyways, continue. The arguments, son. You say you constantly button heads. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So those are arguments. Eventually, like some people, like me, I'll say the old me. The old me loved argument, loved conflict. I figured if you weren't arguing with your person, you didn't love them. Because there should be conflict in a relationship, or things get boring, things are stale. And I had that mindset for a really long time until I appreciated peace. Like, I didn't know what peace was because I grew up in a household that didn't know peace. So I learned that, like, that was my normal. I was like, this is right. This is growth. This is therapy, guys. Also, reach out to BetterHelp. I don't have a code, but shout out to BetterHelp because that helped me get my head straight and made me realize the pitfalls of my brain. But yeah, like it's a learned thing. So if you grow up learning, okay, well, conflict is how my parents interacted, and that's how we're supposed to act. And you realize one person probably is healthy in that relationship. One person isn't healthy. Oh, who am I to say what's healthy?
Right.
But I know that if you have 2 people, one person who likes to argument and one person who doesn't like to argue, that's going to clash. And eventually the person who doesn't like to argue is going to get tired of it and just leave.
Right. But there's like, with relationships, there'll be disagreements, right? Mm-hmm. Is it just like the way, because I've heard like when getting in a marriage and really in a relationship, any relationship, building up to a marriage, a solid marriage, you need to learn how to argue right or how to handle conflict properly, because arguments are going to happen. You're 2 different people. You're not the same person.
Right. There's effective communication. There's ways to have those conversations without getting, I wouldn't say not emotional, but like not using emotionally charged words to like prove your point or like try to put down somebody for their beliefs or their thoughts or their ideas, and to come to a consensus without someone leaving and saying like, oh, you don't respect me. Because a lot of things come down to your tone and how you speak to someone. And that's something that me and my wife dealt with in the beginning. It was like, my word choice isn't helping the situation. And I was like, let me rephrase how I want to say this. And for her, and this is me therapizing my wife, which I probably shouldn't do, but for her, if it was something where if there's something that I say that she doesn't agree with, or if I believe that I'm right about something, and maybe she has an inkling that I am right, she'll go into like this defeated mind where she's just like, okay, well, I just give up. Okay, I guess I'm just bad. I guess I'm just dumb. Blah, blah. And I'm just like, well, no, that's not what's happening. It's just that we're just coming to an agreement together and, making understanding of the situation.
It's about making a safe space for the argument. It's like, hey, we disagree about this. You left a dish, or you don't clean as you cook, or whatever, right?
You trying to start a fight?
Not with you. Not with you.
Okay.
But it's like okay, because a lot of people don't handle conflict because, like you said, it's very it's a learned behavior. For me, it was like, either from my parents, it was like either I yell over you and you listen and I make you small, or I'm the person that gets small in a shell. So it's either I choose those as a learned behavior because we learn our argument styles or how we communicate with our partners from what we see, right? Our parents. Mm-hmm. So, dang, I didn't even think about that. That's a really good one. I didn't even think. I didn't even talk about actual physical abuse. That's another good one to get divorced.
Well, believe it or not, I'm gonna go through the rest of these really quickly.
Let's do it before we go to the new one. The good
stuff. So number 6, financial stress. Number 7, lack of commitment. Which I feel like is similar to, I guess you don't have to be info. You could just be like, hey, I don't really want this. Like, hey, I'm not really trying in a relationship.
You get married for the sake of getting booty, like most celibate.
Well, we're not talking about reasons why people get married. We're talking about reasons for divorce.
Oh, perfect. I can't wait for the marriage.
I was like, spoilers. That might have made the list. You got parenting differences. That's a reason for divorce. Marrying too young. Opposing values or morals. Substance abuse. Domestic violence. And pursuing different lifestyles.
Okay. I feel like the pursuing different lifestyles is compared to the compatibility.
Mm-hmm. Because you like growing apart in that scenario, right? Mm-hmm. So that makes sense. All right, so let's turn the wheels of this whole episode to something a little bit more positive and reasons why you're wedding your betrothed. Why do you think? And we'll do there's only 9 reasons here.
God damn, it's one of the reasons to get divorced to get married.
These are just the common answers on the poll. Okay. But let's see if you can guess the top. We'll give you 3 guesses and then we'll go through the rest of them.
To have sex.
That's not top. You know what? I'm gonna give that to you. I'm gonna give that as companionship. Companionship is the number 2 reason.
Okay. In love.
Number 3.
Pregnant. I'm
gonna say that's number 9.
Come on,
that's
bro.
The last one on the list. I'm gonna give it to you. That one, number 9, is societal and familial pressure. And I'm pretty sure it's the shotgun wedding where it's just like, you better marry this woman that you got pregnant.
Yeah, because they're pointing the shotgun at you. All right, go ahead. What's the top 3?
The number 1 reason people got married, and this sickens me, is financial security. It's not love. It's not companionship. It's all about the dollars.
That says a lot about the state of our government, our country, that people are like, you want to get married so we can get married?
Like, people, I get it. All right. Devil's advocate, but also not really devil's advocate, because I kind of understand where they're coming from here.
Okay.
It's like, hey, well, if you're making a good amount of money, actually, no, in this economy, scratch everything I say, in this economy, 2 heads are better than 1, 3 heads are better than 2, 4 heads are better than
a 5 head.
Like, the more people, like, inflation's crazy, everything is expensive, the Fed rates are through the roof. The only way you can afford to do anything is as a couple. And having that dual income makes a huge difference when you're trying to make, like, a decision in life right now. Because, like, even you right now, you're, like, looking for apartments, and you're like, how much is this going to cost? And I'm like, man, I would hate to have to pay that much money by myself. I mean, I've done it. It sucks. Like, I know it sucks. That's not why why I got married, but it definitely helps to have another income in the household where it's just like, all right, there's not as much pressure about my job or finance or whatever, trying to figure out what I'm doing, how much I'm making. So I guess I understand the financial security aspect. You know, you have all these gold diggers. You have these women out here who's like, I'm trying to find a sugar daddy. I'm trying to be a sugar bear. Like all this stuff going on. So it doesn't surprise me that like, oh well, he had a good job. I was looking for a guy in finance who's 6'5",
6'5", 6 figures, got 6 inch.
Yeah, makes 6 figures, 6 inches, like all of that.
I mean, I have a coworker that told me, and I was fucking pissed off when he said that. He was like, I was like, bro, I can't move close to the city. Financially speaking, it's a bad decision. And he was like, well, the problem is, and this is the catch-22, because I was like, well, I want to start dating, I want to go out more, I got to be next to the metro line. He was like, either A, you go in debt, moving on there, or how about this? You get a partner to live in a 1-bedroom apartment with you, and you split if you don't want a roommate. And I'm like, I'm moving there to do
To
this.
meet the person.
Right. So how am I gonna find I'm like, hey yo, you wanna but that's why.
But then you run into that issue of like marrying into debt. You're like, oh, what's your debt looking like? They're like, oh, well, I owe like $500,000 because of some student loans, and I took out a personal loan way back when I had to get a boat that drowned. The boat drowned. The boat
sank.
Yeah.
The boat drowned.
The boat drowned, and this gen hit me. But
no,
it's just
when you go on runs every day, it be like that. Bro, it's crazy. I get it, but that shouldn't be the case because I feel like that leads to what we talked about the divorce, incompatibility, lack of communication, understand. You know, because yeah, you love the person. I feel like moving in with somebody, and you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Before a year, I would hate it because I was like, your name's not getting on this lease, just in case.
Well, like you're like, I'm not compatible. So I'm just going to take half of that money that I made marrying you. Listen, it's the ultimate con. It's the ultimate con.
Hey, shout out to all the NBA, NFL, and Timothy Chalamet that fuck any of the Kardashians.
Bro, it's the ultimate con, and I can't hate on it. It is what it is. People get your money.
Hey, they getting their money, though.
Companionship was number 2. And I'm just gonna. You said sex, and I think that's also what it could be. It's just like I don't want to be alone. Therefore, I'm going to be with this person, so I don't have to feel alone. So I'm just.
Oh, so that's the difference. Is like more like the lack of the not having someone, not the love part. Like, oh, I want a companion.
Right? No. It's just like I don't want to be alone, so I'm just gonna marry somebody, and just like figure it out after the fact. And I think that's what leads to the lack of compatibility. We're like, oh well, I didn't realize how much goes into a marriage, and like I gotta still deal with it, and it probably leads to the infidelity too. Like yeah, I just didn't want to be alone, but like now that I have somebody in the pocket, like I can go out there and act a fool, knowing that I'm gonna come home to somebody. Then you get caught up, and you're like, oh fuck.
Well, I mean, there's also a thing like I don't know if it's like in every community, but it's a big thing in the Black community where Black women be like, oh, I made him better, and then he do this shit to me. Like I took him off the street, he was dusty. My man ain't know how to, he ain't had style. He ain't have a good job, whatever. I built him up, and now he out here doing whatever without me. Like it's. Like maybe you thought like he was the one. He was like, all right, I'll choose you because no one else would choose me. Oh, now I get all this attention.
You get the glow.
Why do I need you? You built me up. Thank you. You Voltron me. So I appreciate that. You upgrade me. Let me upgrade you. Was that?
That's Beyonce.
Oh, that was Beyonce. I almost gave the credit to Sierra. Yeah, no. I'm not as scared of the Beehive than the Swifties. The Swifties scare me now. The Beehive's a little quiet right now.
Don't say that. They're gonna start swarming on you.
Oh no, bro! Don't come
You
after
thought
that.
You thought that was thunder. No, that was a swarm. They get
Oh,
ready. They coming for you. Number 3 on the list is love, which you called out, and that's the most precious. This is what everybody's like, oh, my true love. And I'm not going to get down this rabbit hole of love because I have a very morbid view on the word love.
You know what? Speak on it right fast.
If you haven't heard prior episodes, everyone's like, oh, I need to find the one. There's only one person out there for me. There's like, this is the only way. Like, I don't necessarily believe that. I don't believe there's only one person out there for you. I think there are multiple people for you, but there's very few ones. If that makes sense. Like, you're not going to align with every single person. Everything's not going to be perfect. You're not going to find someone exactly like you, but you're going to find someone who's exactly what you need. And you have to be aware and realize that what you need at the right time. Like, everything starts at the in alignment. You got to come together and be like, oh shit, love is something that it's not just a feeling, it's something you work on, you work towards. So once you have that, like, you don't want it to be in a lustful relationship where you just keep chasing, and it's really there, or you're chasing a feeling, because the feeling is going to go away.
Yeah.
You have to work to bring it back together, and it's a choice that you're making to be with that person. And love is a choice. I say this all the time. Love is a choice. You choose to love your person. You can choose to not love your person. It is what it is. But that's my spiel on love, and like it's sparking up.
No, I agree. I completely agree. We got it. Before we go, what do you want to add before we let the fans know? Maybe you can put a poll out. What do you want to say to the fans before we head out?
Well, people get married for a lot of different reasons, and we only spoke on 3 here. I'm just going to go quickly through the rest.
Oh yeah.
It's the number 4 was the formal act of making a commitment. So basically, just wanting to have a wedding just to say I did the process. To start a family, convenience, medical insurance, and legal reasons.
I hate 4 of those. I hate 4, bro. Bro, like get your own insurance. Hey, yo, Obama.
Hey, you gotta get that green card. Get the green card, so you get married, 90-day fiance style. Legally, you come here for 90 days. You gotta get married, and you also get the medical insurance with that. You also get the convenience of not having to work hard because you're already a citizen. All you have to do is just throw some ass back and.
I was gonna say honestly, I'm not even mad at it now because I feel like if you get all these benefits, you're like, all right, I'll fuck a dude in the military. You know, we don't got the same views, but he feeding me. I got insurance. I got pension. Money. I don't got to be poor. Like, all right, honestly, at this point, it's like medieval rules. It's like
there are no rules in love and marriage. So that's my note. If you try to get out there, just gaslight somebody into marrying you. And, you might get divorced really soon afterwards, but at least you'll get the day that you want.
Or you could do, depending on your age, you can do like, get one of your best friends that you find like attractive. You're like, hey, if we're single at this point, let's just get married. Let's see how it works. Guys, if you guys did that, if you enjoyed the show, or if you didn't enjoy the show, let us know. Give us your comments. We love to hear your guys' comments. Where can they send their comments and feedback at?
Yes, you can find us at Uncensored Counseling Podcast on Facebook. You can find us at Uncensored Counseling on YouTube. In YouTube and Instagram. And if you have an email, you can send it at youadvicepodcast@gmail.com.
Awesome. And guys, please check out the Patreon. We have a couple of episodes. Video. I think right now we're doing audio. We're gonna probably do video soon in the future. But please check us out on Patreon for exclusive content for you guys. And as always, we love you guys. We're here for you guys.
There you go.
No, I was like, I saw your glass empty. One drink at a time, one episode at a time. Be easy, y'all.
Latest.